Hello everybody, I'm James, Perkins Life 4. And today we are going to have fajitas. So I'm going to show you how I make my fajitas. This is going to be a two-parter because I'm going to cut my meat up, marinate it, and I'll put that video out. And then you'll actually have to come back to see the rest of the video later on this evening. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make, oops, sorry, bumped the camera. I'm going to make my marinade. Everybody has their own marinade, use what you want, but this is the way I found that I make the marinade for what we have. Okay, I got my bowl here, and then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use whatever kind of salsa you want. This is just the Aldi's brand. And it's a mild salsa. You can get whatever heat you want. Depends on how spicy you want it or not. But we don't really like too spicy. So this is a mild. So I'm going to use, since I'm doing chicken and steak, I'm going to use 2 jars of chunky salsa. Put that in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add zesty Italian seasoning. And I really like the zesty Italian seasoning in my marinade. It just gives it a whole bunch of flavor. So make sure you always shake this up first. Let's see if I can, yep, I cracked it. Well, they make these things so much different openings. You gotta open like 8 different things to get it open, you know. And just like the salsa, I'm just using the Aldi's brand. Use whatever kind you want. And then the next ingredient I'm gonna use is chili powder. So what I'm going to use is right here in this chili powder, I have about a half a container left of this, and that's about how much I'm going to use. I would say that's probably 3/4 of a cup maybe. And I'm going to use all of that. And then basically you just stir it up, and this is going to be the marinade that the chicken will go in and the marinade that the steak will go in. They're both the same marinades. Here we go. Let's see if you can get a good picture of that. That's what it looks like there. So you got all those chunks of vegetables from the chunky salsa. So then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this into 2 bowls. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to separate it in 2 bowls. I'm going to actually take out some of this salsa too, because I don't have a lot of meat. But yeah, you want to save some of your salsa back, because you got to figure once this stuff gets marinated, you can't use this marinade again, because you know you're going to have the raw meats in your salsas. So I'm saving this back for after my meat's cooked. I will pour some of this back onto the meat for flavor, just to add a little bit extra flavor. I mean, it's all about the flavor here, you know. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my steak up first. And what I got was some skirt steak. Now on the skirt steak here, the grain of the meat is going this way. So what I want to do is I want to cut it this way across the grain. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it tender once it's cooked. And see, I'm just cutting it into little bitty pieces. Can y'all see that? I think I'm getting it in the light, but yeah. So I'm just going to cut it into little bitty strips. I don't make mine too thin because I want to taste my meat in my fajitas. And we are doing chicken and steak. Yet again, this is one of those things where this is an option. You don't have to do chicken and steak. You can do one or the other. You can do shrimp fajitas or seafood fajitas. And then if you're one of them vegetarians that You know, because you can use, I've seen it done being used with tofu. You could just leave the meat out altogether because we're going to have a bunch of vegetables in this later. You know, and then I'm just going to set that right in my marinade over here. Yet again, I'm going to cut my steak across the grain. And then you get into this one side over here that might be a little bit bigger than the other side. You can always just cut these pieces down, you know. And that's one thing too. I got my cutting board on a towel, a wet towel that I've wet. And what that does is that keeps my cutting board from sliding around. That's the last thing you need, is it to slide around. And there you go, cutting yourself, you know. And that's never a good thing. And I always like to just cut these in half, because I like the big chunks, but I don't need them super long. I mean, that won't even fit on my tortilla later on, you know. And like I said, on your marinade, you can add anything you want. If you want a spicier marinade, you know, you could always add some jalapenos to this, or you can add some chili flakes to this, you know, some cayenne pepper, whatever you want. You can add whatever type of stuff like you want. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go and wash my knife off. All right, I got my knife washed off here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutting board, and, you know, cutting boards have two sides. So I'm just flipping my cutting board over. It's got the towel down, so I'm not really making too big of a mess, you know. And now I'm going to grab my chicken, and I'm using the chicken tenders. I think that's what they call them. You know, and it's the same thing. I'm going to cut this at an angle because I want the softness of it all. And on your marinades, we're going to let this probably marinate for about, I think it's going to be about 2 hours. You know, you can let it marinate as long as you want. I've actually just made the marinade like this. Let it marinate for like 30 minutes and then cook it. That works, you know. But the longer you marinate, the better it tastes. Overnight would be ideal. I'm not doing overnight. I haven't been able to put out a video in the last couple of days because my back went out. So this is not too bad because I can sit down. This is about the first time I've been able to get off the couch and then halfway walk. It's been a rough one there, but, you know, surgery's coming, so that'll fix all that. But yeah, so we're not going to marinate for too long. Plus, I'm hungry for fajitas. I've had this in the fridge. I was supposed to make this a few days ago, but I wasn't able to get up and do it. And then what I'm going to do, once I get all this meat cut up and put in there, I'm going to stir it around. And then I'm going to go ahead and put mine in some large baggies. And that'll work out just fine. And like I said, I got my juice saved over here. Alright, here's my chicken. Get that all covered really good. Let's get you up here, get you that close look. I know how y'all like that close look. And then, yeah, whenever you cook this, I'll be cooking these in a skillet. You're actually going to have some leftover of those vegetables in there from the chunky salsa, which is always a good thing. It just adds more flavor to your stuff. Here's my steak, and yes, I've got more steak than I do chicken. We tend to like the steak a little bit better than the chicken. So there's my steak. Let's get that. Let's get you a close up on that one too. Yummy, yummy. So that is it. Cook the fajitas. So I hope you join us then. Thank you very much for stopping in and watching this. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Like this video. Hey, share this video. Let people know, hey, I'm doing fajitas and I'll have another video tonight. And that's it. Yeah, make sure you stop back by tonight and check out the rest of this and see how they are. So until then, I'll see you in a little bit.